I'm Dr. David Wallace, and in this video we'll be covering how you handle the audio and electronic tracks of Drawings for Meyoko by Angélica Negrón. Hat Trick, my flute-viola-harp trio with April Clayton on flutes and Christy Shade on harp, recorded Drawings for Meyoko as the closing track for our new CD, Big Sky. And when we recorded this, we also decided that we wanted to take an approach that would be different, portable, and enable us to take Negron's wonderful piece into any hall, any situation. Drawings for Meyoko was originally commissioned by Janus, a flute-viola-harp trio based in Brooklyn, New York. And when they would perform Drawings for Meyoko, oftentimes it was in venues like Joe's Pub, the Kennedy Center, or the Bang on a Can Festival, where they would have a full PA and a sound person. And so if you think about that, you need at least 3 vocal mics, at least 3 instrument mics, more if you want different mics for the viola and the banjo. And you would need a PA and a sound person who would be able to balance everything. Now, that's complicated. I know most flute viola harp trios out there are not always playing with a PA or a sound person. And for that sake, I want to present a chamber music unplugged approach that Hat Trick developed so that more ensembles can take this wonderful piece to audiences. Now, you still will need some equipment. At a minimum, you need a laptop. You need an interface that can at least output into 4 different channels. You'll need some cables, some headphones or earbuds. And you'll also need an amplifier or a means for playing the audio to the hall. And I want to stress, audio is not necessarily your violist's responsibility in your trio. If the flutist or the harpist want to take this on, or they have the most expertise when it comes to audio and production, by all means, delegate that. In the case of Hat Trick, I was the person responsible for getting the music and all the technical details down for Drawings from Meyoko, and so I was happy to do that, and now I'm sharing the knowledge so you can take that too. When you purchase the music for Drawings from Meyoko from Decca Music, which is owned by Ricordi Publishing, you will be able to download a zip file which has the audio files. So once you download, you will see this zip file called DP79 Drawings from Meyoko Electronics.zip. And when you open that folder, you will see 3 files. You will see Drawings from Meyoko click track with the date April 22nd, 2021. Drawings from Meyoko Electronics with click, all caps for rehearsal only, again the date, and Drawings from Meyoko Electronics, April 22nd, 21. So here's the 3 tracks. The one that says for rehearsal only is a wonderful tool for rehearsing. Essentially, that track has the click track and Angélica's electronic track. And so you can play that through your laptop or through any system and use that to practice with. So you don't have to worry about setting up headphones or routing, but that's good for your individual practice as well as your group practice. The other 2 files, the click track and the electronic tracks, are what you need for your live performance. And so the click track needs to be routed to the headphones of the performers only, and then the electronics track goes out to the house PA or to your amplifier. So here is a look at the file I use for Hat Trick live performances. You can see up here at the top track, I have the click track, and I've made the note here that this goes to the headphone jack of my interface, and it's going through a bus, which is directed to outputs 3 and 4, which goes to the headphones. And then I've got the practice track, which you can see it's going through a bus 3-4, so that way if we're rehearsing and we just want to use the practice track with the click and without headphones, we've got that option. It's muted by default so that we don't have the click in performance. And then down below I have the track, which is going through bus 3 and 4, which is going to outputs 1 and 2. So that's going to the house. And finally, you may need to adjust the settings on your audio interface so that the exact outputs are going where you want. Here's the settings I have for my Focusrite interface. You can see that I've got monitor outputs 1 and 2 are where the playback to the house goes. And so I've got that controlled with the main volume knob here. And we can work to get as much signal as we want with the house. And then outputs 3 and 4 are going to the headphone jacks. So here are the headphone jacks. And generally, Christy and I would share this jack, and we would find a balance that worked for us. April on flute was on the opposite side of the stage and preferred a little bit more level. And so we would send these to our headphones. And again, this is what would be going to the main. And I want to stress it doesn't necessarily matter what kind of DAW you use or what kind of interface you use, as long as it has enough outputs and the routing that you need. I use Pro Tools just because I've been using it since 2004 and it's familiar, but you could also use Digital Performer, Logic, GarageBand, which comes free with Macs, or Audacity, Reaper. There's many options that you have. And in terms of interfaces, something small and portable. I'm not paid to endorse Focusrite, but I've been using their products for a long time and I love them. This only weighs about 4 or 5 pounds and I can carry it onto an airplane. This particular unit does have 8 lines of input. So if Christy and April and I did actually decide that we wanted to mic our voice and to have a sound person, it has that degree of power and flexibility to do that. But there are some that are even fewer channels, smaller, lighter weight, and there's other brands on the market as well. So when Hattrick started performing this chamber version, we ultimately decided to have an amplifier on the stage so that Angélica and her electronics is like a fourth member of the ensemble. And when you do this, I really do think it is good to be using an amplifier because it will be compact and it will also have a full frequency response, much better than what you might have for consumer electronics if you're going to be playing in a large hall. When we first played Drawings from Meyoko, we used one of my favorite amps, a Roland AC60. AC stands for acoustic chorusing, and it is a great acoustic amp. It has 2 different channels. It can provide phantom power and microphones. When I was doing a lot of gigging in New York City, where sometimes I would need mic'd acoustic and then fully amplified electric viola, this was my go-to amp. It weighs just under 10 kilograms or just under 22 pounds, so it's easy enough to pick it up, take it on the subway. It comes, you can purchase a stand, so this angles it up so it's facing out at the audience. It also has some stereo inputs. Frequency response is pretty wide. In general, when you're looking at an amplifier, you want to see that it can go down at least as low as 20 hertz and as high as about 20 kilohertz so that you have the full frequency response of Angélica's electronics. And then for Hattrick's flight rig and ultra portable touring rig for Drawings from Meyoko, we used one of my favorite small amplifiers, a Yamaha THR-10 series amp. This is, again, probably only about 7 pounds or something, very lightweight. You will want to set it on a clean setting, and then you can run your left and right into the auxiliary input. It will give you stereo output. It's very clean. It's full frequency response. And we would just set this on a table or piano bench. Usually we would put it just between me and Christy, our harpist. And it's also has a fairly good dispersal so that the sound goes out to the whole audience. And again, for our flight rig that I put into our suitcase, I could fit this the power cables, all of the connecting cables, the adapters we needed for headphones into a small Sterilite shoebox size container, which we'll show you a picture of. So I hope that gives you a start into performing Angélica Negrón's Drawings from Meyoko with your flute-viola-harp trio. If you have any other questions about the electronics, please drop them in the chat. I'll do my best to answer. But you know, every group is different, every audio system is different. You can work and experiment to find something that works for you. And in the video description, again, I will put a link where you can actually hear the full track as well as purchase the CD. Thanks for watching, everybody.